What's going on, good people? It's Will. Tonight I'm working on my index. If you're not familiar, your index is your ability to draw your holster, or draw your gun rather, and have your sights line up on whatever it is that you're looking at with some reasonable amount of alignment. It doesn't have to always be perfect, but it should be pretty close to the point that once you arrive, you might have a little bit of cleaning up to do, or maybe what you see is acceptable for the type of target that you're trying to hit. I've been having some issues with locking my strong side wrist, or just joint manipulation, if I can say the word. So I've been focused on that so relentlessly over the past couple of weeks that my index had been negatively impacted by that. So I found out at the range this weekend, just trying to present at, I got a piece of paper here. I had a target that was about 20 yards with an 8-inch circle. So this exact target on a regular sheet of paper. And I would find that just from pressing the gun out, not even from coming from concealment or any kind of holster, but once the gun would arrive, my dot wasn't always in the center of the window, definitely not in the center of the target. Sometimes it was off the paper completely, which is not acceptable. So I want to go back and make sure that I'm starting to refine and get my index back to the point where I can just look at something and then the gun arrives right in my line of sight. So I'm not working on part-time tonight, just strictly working on my index. If you have a strong index, it makes it a lot easier for you to transition if you're going to from iron sights to a dot. I didn't have any issues with finding the dot when I first started, just in your basic positions. The only time I had an issue was when it was a target that I had to shoot kind of around a barrier, and because the gun wasn't lined up naturally, that caused me some issues. But as far as just getting the gun out and finding the dot, for me, I didn't have that problem at all. And that's just because my index was pretty solid at that point. So if you're starting to transition to a dot from irons, which a lot of people are, your index is everything, because you have to be able to make sure that that motion is repeatable, or else sometimes the dot will be high in the window, sometimes it's left in the window, sometimes it's right. Or if you're an iron sight shooter, once you get your gun out, you might find that your front sight is high, it's low in the notch, or left or right. And you want to make sure you have some type of consistency there, where your sights are lining up on target and lined up equal height, equal light if you're using irons, or at least really close to the point where there's just a minor amount of cleanup that you can do, and then you can place shots sooner. So again, I'm just working on my draw, getting my index out. No part-time at all tonight. I just want to make sure that I can repeat that and kind of ingrain that back in, because I didn't like what I saw this weekend when I was pressing the gun out. It's pretty bad. So there, we're on alignment. The dot is a little bit low in the window, so we'll keep working on that. Ooh, missed completely. Definitely want to make sure you're clearing your cover garment. Missed again. Third time, I just ripped my shirt. Third time is a charm. So that was good. Dot's in the center of the target. It's also in the center of my window. Obviously with the dot, it can be off to the side of the window and still in the center of the target, but I want the gun and the dot aligned. I don't want any left to right action. So we're just going to basically keep drilling that tonight, just pressing out to make sure that I can confidently index on what I'm looking at. I have a bunch of targets on the wall. They're half-scale targets. I'm about 7 yards away. So it's mimicking, I don't have one here. It's mimicking an A zone, which would be double that distance, so roughly 14 yards since I'm at 7. Just drawing from different positions. Hands relaxed. Hands in my pockets. Missed. Let's try that again. Hands in my pockets. Ooh, that's something I might need to work on. So we found an issue. So just grabbing my cover garment from having my hands in my pocket is clearly an issue. So we'll do a few reps from here. So I'm glad I actually did that, just so I can discover something that I need to clean up. So that time my dot was a little high in the window, higher than I would like it. Still visible, still was able to place shots. It wasn't the center of the target, but it wasn't where I'm satisfied with it being. Now, I have recently changed the way that I dress my cover garment when I have a t-shirt on. I used to be primarily bottom of the shirt, or I'm just call that the hem or what have you. But now I'm grabbing above the gun. From hands hanging, I found it's about the same speed. But from this position, which you may be in a defensive situation more likely than you are here, from here, it's definitely faster for me to grab the gun from here versus being all the way down where I have to lift the bottom of the shirt. And most of the time I would miss trying to go too fast. So here, for me anyway, it has found to be a little bit faster. And again, like I said, you're closer to this from this position than you are having to grab all the way to the bottom of the shirt. So that split second, I might save a tenth of a second or whatever it is, just grabbing higher up on my body here versus grabbing the bottom of the gun. So I've been here more consistently. We'll go back to our hands in our pocket because that is where I'm struggling. I don't know if I've ever really done many reps from this position at all. So it's a little different because you can't, as your hand comes out of your pocket, you have to reposition where it is and then grab your cover garment. Me, I pinch. I don't grab a handful. I find that if I try to grab a whole handful, I'm more likely to miss. So I usually pinch, and then as I pull it, I grab afterwards, but that initial grab for me is a pinch. It's not saying that's the way you have to do it. That's just the way that I do it. Just do what works for you and then drill the shit out of it. There we go. Pull my t-shirt up. So we'll get a couple reps and then we'll call it a day. But it's important as a new shooter, seasoned shooter, competition shooter, self-defense shooter, whatever it is, in all those applications, it's important to have an index because you want, when you get your gun out, you want it to be pointing at whatever it is you plan on shooting, whether it's a paper target, steel target, or a human. Time does matter. We'll do one more from my pocket since this is the hard one. Let's see if we can get 3 in a row from hands and pockets. All right, we'll live with that. I think I just have to be a little more mindful of my grip when I come from my pockets. I think my hand is just in a different position. See that? We'll stay with it. But we initially missed. Got my t-shirt pulled up now. So we need 3 in a row to go. Can't say home, I'm home, but to call it a day. 3 in a row. Let's call this one right here. Get a good grip, good pinch. Lift up toward your strong side shoulder. Clear that garment and get a good firing hand grip on the right hand. Ah, we missed. So getting my hand out, I guess I'm a little slower because my hand has to be somewhat open in order to get it out of my pocket. And then I'm trying to reposition the pinch, which is throwing off my timing. So I just need to slow that part down a little bit to make sure that I actually grab my cover garment and then get it out of the way. There we go. That feels so much slower. But it's gonna have to be that way until I can drill it. Now that my t-shirt is up, it's not gonna go back the way it should be. Alright, so that's 1. We need 2 more. Focus on clearing your cover garment. Do not try to go too fast. There we go. Give me the 14 when it's 14. Me kill 14. What you know about AR-15? The class 16. When you know the start speed.